Okay, welcome back to another episode of Straight Live Podcast. And today we got the one and only Serious Voice. So,
thank you for having me.
Yep, Serious Voice. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here too as well.
Thank you.
Yep, it's an honor to have you. So we're gonna get straight into the interview,
Okay.
So what was the age when you wrote your first song?
I was 12 years old. And I remember it like it was yesterday because every day I feel like I'm 13. It was, it was a part reggae, part hip hop song that I wrote with my cousin because we lived in this big house in Queens. And it was terrible.
It was terrible. Like,
it was terrible.
What was the motivation behind it though? Like, what made you do it? Like, y'all just
being creative, just being kids.
Chilling.
Yeah. But I knew I wanted to do it. So I always wrote. I was always a writer.
Yeah.
So it came naturally for me, and I wrote the song. And
so was it like a group thing, or it was like you just wrote a song and they recorded it?
She was like my motivation. So she would be there to, just push me. Shout out to Marsha. She know who she is. And
Marsha, all right.
Yeah, we call her Mar in the family.
Yeah.
But I just wrote the song. I used to get my allowance and I would run to the store and buy the vinyls.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, it would have the instrumental.
Yeah.
So I would just use random instrumentals and just flow with those instrumentals.
Yeah. So how and was it Serious Voice from then, or did that name come about?
No, it was more serious. Actually, no, my first name was Silva. Because I had these silver LA gears back in the day. That'll date me. That'll tell you guys how old I am. But they don't even do those I don't even know if people wear LA gears anymore.
They don't,
But yeah, it was popping back in the day, and I had the only pair on the block, and I wore them things every day, and people just started calling me Silva. So that was my first rap name. And then because it took 13 years for my brother to show up, everybody just always told me I had to be serious, I had to be responsible, especially my parents. So that's how the serious came about. And then when I became a Christian, I added the voice to it.
Yes.
Because there were so many seriouses out there. But, the question to me was, what kind of serious are you? Are you a serious hip hopper, serious MC? I just added voice because I wanted people to listen to my voice. Mm-hmm. So that's how the name Serious Voice came about.
So where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Guyana, South America. So big up to the GT Massive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when I get upset, you hear my Caribbean accent. But for the most part, you just hear Brooklyn. Yeah.
And so how long you been in the States?
Since I was 5. Came here, at the age of 5 and never looked back. Yeah.
That's what's up. So you love it here?
Yes, I love being in the United States.
That's what's up. You grew up here. What are some of your inspirations in the music industry?
I would say Queen Latifah. I think she kind of pushed me off the edge to do music. Mm-hmm. Just the confidence that she has. I can't even say had, that she has. And just, I remember running home to watch Video Music Box and watch the UNITY video and watching her on the motorbike, like just all the visuals kind of, it encourages a young Black girl and it makes you feel like I could do that too.
Yeah.
And well, here I am. So shout out to Queen Latifah.
Yeah, shout out to Queen Latifah. She definitely was an inspiration in my life too. I love Queen Latifah. UNITY, that was one of my favorite songs of all time. And that song still slaps to this day.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you feel like your music bring to the industry?
I feel like I bring an alternative to what people listen to on the radio. It's the same 5 songs on the radio. It's the same vibe on the radio. I feel like I kind of keep a little bit of the old school vibe, but then I also add like new school elements. Yeah. So that's what I bring. Like I keep that because back in the day, it was all about lyrics.
Yeah.
It was all about what you said and how you said it. and how we would empower each other, not just as a woman, but how we empowered our communities to just consistently do better and to educate each other. So I feel like I put those two together, and that's what you get with Serious Voice.
Oh, that's what's up. So what's your creative process?
Everything and all things inspire me. So I could be watching TikTok, watching those silly videos on TikTok. Yeah. And like recently, I've been watching a lot of videos of people celebrating the fact that they got a BBL. Yeah. And anybody that knows me in the camp, they know how I feel about BBLs. And I'm actually working on a song about that. But like,
is that a good feeling or a bad feeling?
Just to tell my sisters that you don't have to change, you don't have to switch it up just to get love from people. Yeah. Like sometimes we have low self-esteem, but that stems from childhood trauma. It could stem from different things, but we don't have to change ourselves just because the thing that a lot of people will find out is after you've gotten the BBL, you're still not satisfied. You're still not happy.
Definitely.
Then you're going to go back and get another one because you feel like it just wasn't right.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But you got to be satisfied with you first of all. So things like that, just watching videos and the video that inspired me was seeing a woman who she kind of did her before and after.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I was so skinny and bony and I didn't like myself. And now I got a BBL and I feel great. And I'm like, but sis, there was nothing wrong with you when you were slim.
Yeah.
I mean, in her head, she felt like she had to get it, but she could have died.
Yep. And a lot of them now is doing they wishing that they never got it. Like that's a big thing, like a big trend, especially like in the industry. They talking about how they mad that they even got the BBL in the first place. Like, they should have been just happy with who they was.
Right. And you have people who they've taken it to a whole another level. They didn't just get it once.
Yeah.
They've gotten it twice and 3 times and 4. And I'm like, now it's like an obsession.
Yeah.
It's like you keep going back because you realize it's getting a rise out of people. People are responding to it. So, you're addicted to it now. And that's not good because the next time you do it, you might actually die.
Yeah. I'm not a BBL fan either as a man, you know what I mean? Like I like natural women, like, you know what I mean? Natural bodies, everything. So what do you feel? Do you feel like you make music as far as for everybody, or you feel like your music is for like a certain people?
When I first started and when I was a young Christian, I felt like I was only making music to convert people to Christianity, which is a goal of us Christians. But now in 2025, I have to be honest with myself. And there were a lot of, life-changing moments that made me see myself as who I actually am. I make music for everybody. I don't just make music for Christians. Like, I like to have fun with my music.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I could do a dance song, but it's clean. It's family friendly. Yeah. And I don't think nothing of it. And I don't see it as being like anti-God or whatever. And then I could make, songs about political stuff, which I have. Yeah. We've done SOS. We've done the SOS remix with Mr. L. And we talk about what's going on in the United States and the government and things like that. So I don't put myself in a box. Mm-hmm. I just see myself as a hip hop artist. I'm a Christian, but I am a hip hop artist and I create music for everybody. And you might catch me on a good day where I'll create a song for women, where we amplify each other. Right. And then another day I might just be like, y'all need some Jesus. Yeah. Y'all need Jesus for real, for real. So it depends where I am.
So so it's safe to say that you consider yourself a Christian rapper, or do you just consider yourself a rapper?
I consider myself a Christian rapper, but that's not it. There's a comma after that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm also a hip hop artist. Yeah. Like, I could vibe with any crowd.
Yeah. Got you.
And that's why I have kept elements of old school hip hop.
Yeah.
And I bring the new school to it because people who are really lovers of hip hop, they see me, they get me, they vibe with me.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I do feel like you do bring that old school element back to with a little bit of the new school.
Yes.
And it, like, I listen to your music and I do get that in a lot of your music, and that's good. So was it always like that for you? Like, did you, when you first started, when you and your cousin, right? Did you say your cousin?
Yes.
When you first made your first song, did you say, I'm going to be a Christian rapper, or I'm going to just always have God in my music?
No, there was no God at that time. We were just having fun. So it was just hip hop. Yeah. It was corny hip hop. Yeah. It was really terrible.
I mean, it was your talent.
But it was just, it was just hip hop music. Yeah. Yeah, we were just vibing.
So at what age did you say, so when was it, when it was the transformation for you? When you
I got saved when I was 15. Mm-hmm. So at 15, that's when I was like, okay, I want God to be in my music.
And before that, I'm sorry to cut you off. Before that, was you into church? Like, did you grow up in church?
I did grow up in church, but I wasn't connected to church. Yeah. I wasn't connected until like my late teens. Yeah. That's when I got serious about God. And in my late teenage years, I got serious because I had a personal experience. Yes. It didn't happen in church. Mm-hmm. I was in my bedroom and my doors were closed and I had a conversation with God. Mm-hmm. Because my parents always told me, hey, you got to live right. You got to do, like, I think all of our parents tell us the same three things. Yeah. Have good grades, behave yourself, and go to church type of deal, right? Yeah. Be a good Christian. But for me, it was that personal conversation at the age of 15 with my bedroom door closed, just me and God. I was lying in my bed and I was like, okay, God, show yourself for real. Yeah. And he sure did. Mm-hmm. And that day I got dressed up in this bright green outfit because, I'm from the Caribbean. We like bright stuff. Mm-hmm. And my parents were amazed. They were shocked. They couldn't believe it. They didn't have to come banging on my door. Yeah. Hey, wake up, get ready for church. I was ready before them. Yeah. And I went to church that day and I've never looked back since. It was just a different experience for me.
Yeah, I grew up in the church, so I trust me, I know. Our stories kind of, flip around. Okay. Like, I actually did grow up in the church. Okay. But then when I got a certain age, it was like, because I do, like, I'm a big, I believe in the most. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't go to church because I don't feel like, not saying like I have anything in church, because I do have a church, a home church. Okay. But I don't go because I'll be busy, but I do feel like you can, you don't have to be in the church to speak to your God. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, eventually you want to go to the building, but you are the church. So wherever you go, you can have church.
Basically, yeah. Yes. So for me, that was the only reason, like, busy kids run, doing a whole bunch of. So I do try to make my way sometime to get there. Right. Because I do miss it. Because it is. I actually be talking to my wife about it, actually getting the kids to go to church. Because I think that is something that what's missing in today. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's like, because it's a structure. Mm-hmm. Like, it keeps you balanced a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to get away from what's going on in society. Right. Like, but so I understand what you're saying about the Christian rapping, definitely. Do you feel like, so how did you get your music into films? Tell us about that journey.
That's a good question. Thank you. So when I released my first album, Shofar, back in 2016, one of the songs on there is a singing song. It's a worship song called Whoa. Mm-hmm. And my husband's featured on there. But I remember being on social media and my husband and I saw Spike Lee posting stuff on social media, and he's a big supporter of Brooklyn and all things Brooklyn. Yeah, and I'm big on Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. So I follow him and I admire him as a filmmaker, and he posted, hey, I need all independent artists to send me music because I'm going to have She's Gotta Have It on Netflix. Yeah. And my husband submitted all of my music, and then he was like, you know what, let me also submit the worship song. Yeah. Spike Lee listened to all the hip hop and then he chose the worship song. Yeah,
of course.
He chose Whoa. So I'm singing and I don't normally sing. Yeah. But he chose that and it turned into a whole dope experience where we got to go to this exclusive party. And so the song can be heard on She's Gotta Have It season 1, episode 9, I believe. And it's on Netflix right now, so people could go check it out. Oh, that's and it was a dope experience. And he's just like so down to earth. Yeah. And he welcomed us and gave all of the artists an opportunity to talk about their music and, just their music career. And it was a great experience.
And so you do also have an interview with Sway, right?
Yes, that happened recently.
How was that?
That was amazing. That was, the crazy part is, it's like, how do I explain it? It's like a 10-year kind of thing. It's like two different encounters being on Sway. Yeah. The first time I was at South by Southwest. Yeah. And he saw me at baggage claim, and he was like, "Oh, you look like an artist. I need you to come to my show." Yeah. And I showed up 5:00 in the morning. I showed up. He gave me the mic, and I performed on the stage, and it was broadcasted live. Mm-hmm. And so about a year ago, ran into Heather B. At Newark International Airport, which is where I work. So I wasn't looking like no artist, but we connected. I had on my suit and everything. Yeah. And we were just talking and she's like, I want to have you on the radio again. And I said, yeah, Sway told me that he wanted to have me on again. And so literally a year passed by and we weren't able to connect with the schedule. Year passed by to the date. Yeah. I'm at the airport in my suit. I was running around with my laptop because I had work to do, but it was so busy I couldn't find an area to get my work done. So I said, let me leave the club area and go out onto the concourse and get my work done. So I'm running around with this laptop. I run literally, this is all God. I run right into Heather B. Yeah. I don't know how, but she was standing there. I had to make the turn. Uh-huh. I ran right into her. She looks at me. I look at her. She was like, oh my God. She was like, I'm booking you right now. She pulled out her phone. She called her husband. She was like, we got to get Serious Voice on because this is all God. Yeah. And she kept saying it. She was like, this is a God thing. She was like, I don't know how this happened, but she was the first time she was on her way to Italy because she has this collaboration with a company. Mm-hmm. So she goes out there every year at the same time. And sure enough, she was on her way to Italy and there it was. So on October 30th, I was at their studio at Shade 45 in Manhattan, and we were telling the story like, yo, this is all God. Yeah. That's what an experience. What an experience. Yeah. And they were able to play my music and they put me in the game. They had, all the citizens call in and critique my music, and it was super dope. Like, I'm still trying to get over that. Yeah, I know it had to be a hell of an experience. Yeah. That's what's up. Do you got any other artists in your family outside of you? I have an uncle who lives in Florida and he does like country music and he's done country music for a long time. He writes, but he's not like well known or anything. So me mentioning him is not gonna but we have music in my family. We have music in our blood. Like I have a lot of people in my family who've played instruments. Unfortunately, they've passed. But yeah, we have music in our blood, and my son is now taking up music. He's an amazing drummer, and of course, you guys know my husband. So yes, the DJ. Yes, the one and only Mr. C Live. Shout out to Mr. C Live. You already know the vibes. Yeah, the Christian Mr. C. So do you So I guess they don't. I guess the artists that you do have in your family, they don't really play a part in nothing that you really have going on as far as your career in the music industry. I mean, I think everybody plays a part, like you learn different things, like how to write, how to structure your music. So those type of things I have learned from them, how to turn around songs quickly. Because sometimes people will give you, hey, I need a song with this theme. And you're just like, how am I going to write that? I don't know how to write that. But like my uncle has always done things quickly because he knows how to like get focused and hone in on certain things. So I think I've taken that from him. Oh, so maybe I misunderstood. So your uncle, you was around your uncle a little bit. Yes. As far, all right. So that's why I said what I said. So I got it wrong. So that's what's up. So then, that's good then. Also, sorry. Do you have any upcoming collaborations? I have lots. With people outside of your team? Well, I think everybody's inside my team, More Beats, SPM, those two collabs. Outside, no. I've done a lot of that. Like 2 years ago, I collaborated with Trey Trax, who's signed to Rock Nation. He's a producer. Mm-hmm. He's worked with Saucy Santana and a bunch of big, like what do they call her? Lotto? Yeah. He's worked with all of them, and I collaborated with him with Kill the King. That's his beat. Yeah. And but like right now I want to stick with in-house people. Yeah. I think that, back in the day, the old school people would say no new N-word.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep it family friendly. I mean, I'm a Christian.
Gotcha.
But like I also subscribe to that.
Yes.
Because I feel like if people were with you when you were eating from McDonald's, they should be with you when you're eating from Next Level, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So like when you go on a Roof Chris.
Yep.
So everybody deserves the shine.
Yeah.
So I don't just jump ship and then start working with new people just because I'm on a different level.
Gotcha.
I stick with the same people because when I'm eating steak, you should be eating steak too.
Yeah, and the talent is there. I mean, if your team got it, what you got to go somewhere else for?
Exactly.
Right? Like, so that's what's up. How many projects do you have? Not singles, like projects, like.
Okay, so I am currently working on my 6th album.
6th album.
Yeah, so I have 5 albums out there, and I have almost like 100 songs. Like I have a lot of work. Yeah. I have a lot of collaborations as well. That I've collaborated with artists internationally in Africa, artists in the UK, artists all over the US. I've done a lot of music, a lot. So when you ask me the question about are you Christian hip hop or hip, like I think I've exhausted so many genres to believe it or not, and people don't even believe it. But like, if you go out there and really research Serious Voice or even Serious, you will find a lot of my stuff out there.
Yeah, I did my research and I did see a lot of your stuff out there, So that's why I was asking, because I do see that you got a lot of singles out there. So that's why I was asking you how many actual projects do you have. So you said it's 5 going on 6?
Yes.
Working on your 6th. Yes. That's what's up. And that's congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So what's the name? Do you have a name for it?
Yes, we do. Well, it's this new album that's coming. I'm paying homage to my mom who recently passed, and it's called Tessa's Daughter. But the single is already out. The Tessa's Daughter single is out. And next up is going to be Homecoming. Yep. Featuring Mickey G. Yeah. So when you guys hear that one, I think you'll really vibe to it, because it's just picture yourself, taking your last breath and what happens after that. Yeah. Are you going to be received by your God or, but for my mom, because she was a Christian, later in life, I painted that kind of picture where she's being received by Jesus, and, the trumpets, you hear that in it, and just being told, well done, my good and faithful servant. Yeah. So it's a cool song.
So if that's like a little more on a personal level, right? Is there anything that you would do different now that you didn't do back when you first started your music? Like if you could go back and do some things over, is there anything that you would do different?
Honestly, I wouldn't, because I think that all the negative stuff, all the positive stuff has helped me to be who I am. All the people that I've dealt with. And again, I have to go back to this. When I do have that big moment or that big contract that comes, which I know it's going to come, or that big platform that really takes my career to the next level, I don't want it to be based off of something frivolous, but I want it to be based off of all of my hard work. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like the Sway thing happened because of my hard work, because I'm not just an artist, but I'm a talker. I can talk my way into situations. Mm. And if you hear, like when you hear the interview, even they paused and said, man, you're a great communicator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
I get it now.
I've gone to school. I have a couple of degrees. My mom spent some money on that. And so, but I feel like that's going to be it. Like, I don't regret anything. And when I do make it to that next level, the people who turn their backs on me, I need them to keep that same energy.
Yes.
I don't want you to now don't try to be my friend.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you should have believed in me when I was this struggling artist. So when I do make it and my name becomes this, on the top 5 or whatever, you should be like, I knew she was going to be there.
Well, we working. We made it already.
Yeah,
we made it already. So, there's levels to making it, but we make it already. You already made it. Like, you got tons of music out. You know what I mean? You're working on your 6th in studio album.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so you already made it. You know what I'm saying? If you had one song out of your career that you have written and put out, if you had one song to put on the radio, they say this could make a break, what would it be?
Oh man.
Like this is the life,
because I have so many.
What would that song? What would be the song that represents Serious Voice?
Man, that's difficult. That really is difficult. I can't pinpoint one song. Like I have a song that's called Immaculate, and on the hook, I say, I've been here. Mm-hmm. What you looking for is right here. Mm-hmm. That chick with the bars, right here. Yeah. So cold with the tongue, right here. Yeah. So like, it's not a lyrical song. It's a vibe song, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that because it's universal. Everybody can relate. Yeah. So I feel like that might be the song. It's been out there for a while and it's been on the Christian hip hop charts.
Yeah.
It's hit number 1. But like, I don't know. It's difficult to ask someone what's your best, That's a difficult question. That really is difficult. It might be Homecoming. Which hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
And I say that because it's a different energy. Even on the second verse, like the second verse is my favorite because I say, "Oh my mama, this year I'm rhyming different. Experiencing death with no fear, gotta move different. No balls dropping, plans popping. My mind and heart says give it all, so all I'm copping. No excuses, removing nooses, chains that had me bound. He said he'd fight all my battles, no rebuttal now. I only got one plan, I'm planning to win now. I'm hitting a booth with nothing but truth. I win, she wins now." That's all I'm giving you.
Oh yeah, we can't.
But like,
we're looking forward to for
that right there. that Homecoming. Yeah. Look for Homecoming.
When can we be expecting that?
I want to drop it on the day of my event, April 26th.
And you do have the All Women's.
Yes, that's the All Women's.
All right, so event. explain to the people what is that event that you.
So it's a premium virtual experience. Several years ago, I did a tour called the Beautiful Hope Tour. So we're calling this one the Beautiful Hope Tour Revisited. So we have a number of women. We're celebrating us, and we're performing. And I've got women from different genres, very dynamic. I have one lady from Kenya who's performed and who's going to be performing live. Suzai, we have Tam Tam, who's more like world reggae music. Then we got the Commissioner, we got Mickey G, we got B Moody from Connecticut, we got Favor, who's also a DJ, female DJ and singer. We have a Christian hip hop artist called Davina, who's out of Long Island. And then of course you got me closing the show, but like it's gonna be amazing because you got different styles coming together. And then we have the song Hear Me Roar. So we got artists up coming from Harlem to join me on the song. The Commissioner and Tam Tam, we're all doing the Hear Me Roar song.
How can the people get locked in with that?
So right now, I need you guys to go to seriousvoice.morebeats.com. You can find information. Just drop me a line. I will send you guys the link, and then you can purchase your virtual tickets. Or if you see, we don't want a bunch of people in studio because we want it to be very intimate, and we're getting close to the number. Right? But if you want to be in studio, if you can go to seriousvoice.morebeats.com right now, right today, when you see this video, and you drop us a line and say, "Hey, I want to be in studio," because we're also looking at the security factor.
Yes.
Because I've had some men hit me up and say they want to, and I'm like, brother, it's a women's event. Yeah. Like you guys could support us virtually, but we would rather just having women in the studio with us live because we're celebrating each other and certain things we're going to have happen, right? But yeah, we got to vet everybody because it's a very intimate space. It's actually Life Zone TV. It's an intimate space, and we're very careful about that. But April 26th is going to be on and popping.
Got you. So y'all heard that, right? So make sure y'all get with Serious Voice so y'all can get the tickets. Women to be in studio, men virtual, Don't try to be sneaky and try to get in there on the low, man. So tell us about a time, right, in your career that you felt was the most difficult time your career?
I'll be honest with you. Recently, I had the Sway interview in October. We had the end of year, the More Beats end of year in December, and literally the day after, the More Beats end of year was December 14th. Mm-hmm. I found out that my mom passed December 15th.
Sorry to hear that, man.
I didn't even get a chance to celebrate anything. And then my birthday was December 1st. So I said, I'm going to hold off because I usually celebrate right after the More Beats end of year because it's a celebration. You know, all of us artists, we celebrate, we get together, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, it's another year on the earth. I will hold off. And then my mom passed, and then I had to plan my mom's funeral. Mm-hmm. And then I had to eulogize my mom. And a lot of people don't know that I'm also a reverend. That's a whole nother. So I gave the sermon at her funeral. I had to do all the planning, plan the repast, all of that. This has been the most difficult season in my life. But the beauty of it is that I had such a amazing support behind me. You know, my husband, SPM, More Beats, the commissioner, everybody's just been super supportive. Like those days when I first heard, I literally spent 3 days in bed in the same clothes, just crying, like, because how do you deal with that? Yeah. You know, and I'm still dealing with it, but the music has helped me to just keep going, you know. So I kept going to the studio, recorded Tessa's Daughter and just put it out, and then recorded Homecoming. And
so Tessa's Daughter is the release of the track, right?
Yes, the single.
So that was released how long after your mother's?
A week.
A week?
Yes. Literally a week after she passed, I released
What was that like creating? I know that had to be, oh my God.
It was difficult. You know, I cried. Even to this day, like this morning, my husband played it and I was like, please don't, like, because I'm still, when I listened to it and what I said, I was venting. Yeah. And you could hear that. What would you say your mom just passed? That's what I said. Yeah. Like you're like, God, why? You know? Yeah. But those are the things that have helped me to just keep going. Creating music has helped me to create to deal with this season in my life. This has been the most difficult. It hasn't been losing a job. It's been this season.
Do you have any other siblings also?
Yes, I have half siblings back home in Guyana. And then I have my brother here in New York, in Queens.
So that's the brother that you said in the beginning that you were waiting to get back?
Yeah. That's yeah.
So he came from Guyana to the American, to the States?
Yes.
Gotcha. How long he been here? Does he do music too?
No, he's far from music. He likes to travel.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He's not a fan of he's not a creative person, I should say, but he's more like into fashion.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotcha. So we heard the album, we got an album coming.
Yes, the Tessa's Daughter album is coming. And the single Homecoming.
Homecoming single.
Yes, that's the one I spit a little bit for you. That's coming on the day of the event.
When is the album? What day do we
I don't have a date yet for the album.
All right.
Because it's, I'm still crying and writing and crying. You know?
Do you have any outside of the event, outside of the album, outside of the single, do you have anything else coming up? That we could be expecting from Serious Voice?
Man, I can't mention, all the other stuff, but just know that I have a documentary in the works.
Any particular brand names you working with?
Yeah, it's called Rap Queen, the Serious Voice Story, and I've had it in the works for a few years, but we're nearing to that place where we have like maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. It's an award-winning documentary. It's been shopped around. It's been showcased in like Nevada, in Buffalo, in different markets. But my goal is to give it to the nation on one of the major streaming platforms. So just look for that. We're working on some things.
So here on Straight Live Podcast, we ask one question that we ask everybody that come up here. And that's because this Straight Live Podcast is for us that's up and coming, creating this new wave.
Okay.
So for the people that's coming up under you,
mm-hmm.
younger, older, anybody that's trying to, what some advice you would give them?
I'm gonna give some real advice. Don't be lazy. Lazy people cannot be successful in music. Laziness is kind of like being cheap. Those two work together. You can't be cheap with your music and you cannot be cheap with your life. You can't be like, and then you can't be lazy. No woman or no man wants to be with a lazy person. Nobody's putting on a lazy artist.
Yeah.
They need to see you consistently work. I tell even the artists on SPM, I'm like, don't be lazy. Do not be lazy. I just had a conversation with an artist, SPM, and I'm like, my mom died and I was in the studio. There's like no reason for you to have an excuse. You gotta work. If you're upset and depressed about the death, rap about the death. This is something that I learned from Elle. Mm-hmm. I remember my husband going to some kind of event and played one of my old songs and they didn't like the song. I wrote a song about them not liking the song. It's called Anthem. Like this, I learned all of this from Elle. Like you laughing. That's right. So like you want advice, don't be lazy, don't be cheap. You will see success if you do not do those two things. Yeah, if you're consistent and you invest in yourself, you will see success.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because that was like, like my father, he's into music too. Like he got studio and everything. Mm-hmm. And that's one day, like my brother was mad when I don't rap. My little brother, he rap, whatever. And he was mad one day. So my father trying to get him in studio. I don't feel like doing this. My father like, why you mad? I don't know. Going through whatever you going through. My father like, well, put that in the song. Go put that in the song. You gonna make a hit right now. So, I do believe that. Like if you're going through something, it's definitely put it in your music. So SPN is what?
SPM is Serious People Music.
Mm-hmm. So that's your label?
Yes, that's the label that I co-run with my husband. Mm-hmm. And when I first started back in 2011, I was signed to a label called Hollywood Records, based in Florida. And a couple of years after that, we were like, okay, we want to move on to our own situation. And then my husband actually started Serious People Music. So I'm under Serious People Music. And then I started working with Elle and More Beats. So everything that I release is a SPM More Beats situation. So, everybody has their own.
So what type of music are we releasing under SPN? Or is it like...
SPM is a Christian label.
Yes.
So, everything we release under there is Christian.
Oh, I got you. So I just wanted to clear that up.
More Beats is more hip hop. More Beats is all hip hop. I'm like the only Christian hip hop under More Beats. So, yeah.
Got you. Yeah, that's what's up. So, any new SPN artists that we can be expecting to be dropping soon?
Well, right now we we're working with Constant Battle out of Buffalo. We're also working with B Moody. Out of Connecticut, who I've been mentoring her. Anybody that knows me, that has followed me, they've seen this young woman with me. So she's gonna be performing at the event on April 26th, and she got some fire. Like, I love it when younger artists have that fire and they remind me of myself when I was there. So I will always open the floor and be like, yo, take my mic and you rock out, do your thing. Because I don't feel like anybody can take away my shine. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I feel like if you're dope, people are going to see a dopeness. I don't have to do anything.
Absolutely.
Right? Yep. So I open my platform to her and just look for her. We have some stuff that we've worked on, but, everything in due time.
Yeah, got you. And as far as More Beats, how did that come about?
A lot of people don't know, but Elle and I went to school together. And we didn't know each other in high school, but we connected at one of our high school reunions. And then it was like, you do music, I do music. Yeah. You do radio, and I do. Like, we need to work together. Yeah. So that happened. We started by doing the Yes Hour podcast. And then it just evolved into music.
Gotcha.
So from my first album, we've been working together from Shofar.
Gotcha. That's what's up. Yeah, all good people, man. That's actually like my family. That's like my uncle-in-law who's married to my aunt. So that's what's up, man. We appreciate you having you come on the show today. It's been an honor. Great conversation. Anything else you want to leave the people with?
Just, strive for success. Don't stop. If you have a dream, just go after it. Like, you can't blame anybody for not seeing success. You can blame yourself. But if you stay on that consistent path, eventually you'll get there.
Thank you, Serious Voice, for coming out. Let the people know where they can find all your music at, where they can, any video, visuals, anything you got. Let them know where they can get it at.
Yes, thank you so much, DJ Turnpike. So on my YouTube, Serious Voice TV, you can find all of my latest music videos. We've got the Kill the King video. We've got the Back to Basics. On my Serious Voice Vivo, you've got Back to Basics. You've got Brooklyn Dreams, which is all, that mixture of old school. So go check that out. If you want to support, you can go to seriousvoice.morebeats.com.
All right, and thank you again for tuning in with us. Serious Voice, go check it out. All platforms. We out.